The back row state of this Benetton team, because in fact Bramstein is in wearing number 7. The only other change is in the second row on the pack where Federico Ruzza comes in, but a number of changes behind the scrum. Alberto Scarbi comes in to outside centre to captain the side, with Tommaso Benvenuti moving onto the left wing, and Jaden Hayward plays his first game at full-back, and having played full-back a week ago, Ian McKinley, formerly of Leinster and Ireland under 20, moves into his more familiar outside half position. The referee doing his 9th game, 2 of which last season were involved Ulster, the games against Glasgow and this team Treviso, is Dan Jones, assisted by his fellow Welshman Ian Davis and Claudio Blesano. And the television match official is Sean Brickell, also from Wales. It's getting a little bit overcast. Dan Jones, the youngest of the Pro 14 referees, says he's happy to start. And likewise, Treviso seem to be happy to start, or Benetton as we have to call them. Ulster playing in their new away strip and taken in by the man who impressed last week, but then he always does, Louis Ludic. Pitch in not bad condition. John Cooney gets it away. And immediately, Stuart McCluskey tries to get over the gain line. Nice wristy pass by Cooney, and there's a bit of typical South African forward drive by Jean Dijssel. Leliafano, Tommy Bowe, playing for the 2nd game in a row in the outside centre position. Cooney gets it away. Good first up tackling there by Benetton, keeping Ulster bottled up, and Ulster get the penalty straight away. And first thoughts, I'm delighted to say, from Patrick Wallace.
Yes, Jim, it was an enterprising start by Ulster, not but willing to kick the ball too early in the phase play there. Played the ball into the wide channels and back with the forwards and won a penalty straight away. So a good start. Discipline, we have to be on top of the penalty count away from home. It's always difficult to go away from home and be ill-disciplined. Leskis will be making that message very clear. Try and keep the penalty count below 10. Always makes life very easy on the road.
Yes, once it gets into double figures, coaches start getting annoyed. Well won at the back of the lineup, but not so well distributed to John Cooney. Won't thank his forwards for that, but his forwards will thank him for that. Now he needs a wee bit of support. And that's a good piece of support from the youngster, Matthew Ray, starting his very first game, sub last week, taken on by Sean Reedy. Added to his international tally by another cap during the summer. Jacob Stockdale played twice for Ireland, so a lot of new faces coming through both for Ulster and for Ireland. Callum Black, who's been around for quite some time, takes it forward. 7th year now with Ulster. Leliafano, Kieran Treadwell. Met with some solid defending. Cooney in quickly as ever. Dijssel had to stretch, but he cleverly came off his right foot. Ulster directly under the Benetton post. Wee bit of a fumble, and Stuart McCluskey almost benefited from that, and he slipped the ball away quite nicely. Ulster on the front foot. Vian Herbst. Oh, nice hands by the prop. Here goes Ludic. Number 11 last week. He scored a try, very nearly got 2. Cooney. Robbie Dyack, playing in the 2nd row for the 2nd game in a row this season. Back inside. This is good continuity once again by the men in blue.
Let go! Leave!
Cooney. Herbst looking for just his 3rd Ulster try. Cooney again. Leliafano slips it nicely. That's good support play by Ulster. Getting ever closer. Cooney again. Oh, that's great stuff by Ulster, taken on by McCluskey. Ludic. Very close to that home line. Cooney again. Leliafano. Andrew Trimble, Ulster's skipper, playing his 150th league game. What a record. Dijssel again. Again, the defence has to be good, and is pretty good. And it's Ulster give away the penalty, and you've got to take your hat off to the men in green and white.
Ulster put in about 15, 16 phases there, and were slowly creeping across the game line, but didn't really create too many try-scoring opportunities there. And you can see whenever the defence knows exactly what your game plan is, they can come up, and they met John Dijssel on the right on the tackle line and knocked them back, and they weren't able to retain the ball. They were able to get hands on the ball, slow it down, and eventually win the penalty. But an enterprising start. Very good break by Cooney, who's looked very, very sharp in his early Ulster career. Searing break from the back of the line out there.
Kick to touch was by Tommaso Allen, 24-year-old, who is a Scots dad.
Lads, get in the gap, please. Lads, front man, they use him, please. Treviso, come up.
Dan Jones just insisting that they come up to the mark, and there is a gap of a metre between the respective line. It's good spoiling there by Ulster, and by Kieran Treadwell did well, but it was just knocked forward by an Ulster hand, so we're going to get the first scrum of the game. You played here many times. Ulster have never lost in this ground, Paddy, but they've never found it desperately easy.
No, it's an awfully difficult place to come away and get a win, and you know, I share Stephen Paris's hesitancy over in the studio there about Ulster coming across and getting a bonus point straight away. It's you know, Treviso actually haven't lost back-to-back games since back in March of last season, so they don't tend to go 2 games in a row with poor performances.
And just for the record, Ulster since December of last year have only won twice on the road. So it doesn't augur well if you look at the cold stats, but cold stats really don't count once somebody blows the whistle and the game kicks off. There is the strong Tito Tebaldi, capped 22 times by Italy. Had a spell with the Ospreys and then with Harlequins before coming back to his native Italy.
Bind! Set!
So how will Ulster fare in this first scrum against a pretty big pack?
Stay up,
Well, we're getting no change out of the home 8. Tebaldi looks to the narrow side. McKinley with that familiar head guard, and instead of goggles on, oh, there's a steering break. Ulster left for dead and defensively. And a nudge forward, and that was very unfortunate. Well, I'd like to have another look at that. I think there was an outside break there, and it might well have been made by Alberto Scarby, the skipper. Or was it Jaden Hayward coming in from fullback, Paddy?
Fullback, Jaden coming in from fullback, and he just got on the outside of Tommy. Tommy was left a wee bit tight, marking the short runner, and just left a bit too much space on the outside. You know, he's not overly experienced at 13. I guess played very well last week, and defensively seemed very solid, but just early signs of Treviso looking to exploit that inexperience perhaps in that outside channel.
Well, the 30-year-old New Zealander Jaden Hayward made the first serious line break of this game. We played nearly 6 minutes, no score. Ulster scrummage. And will they stand up to what's going to be a fair bit of pressure from the Benetton front row? There's that squeeze on. Ulster have to dig in, and Benetton has slewed them round, illegally so. And Dan Jones saying you're dragging that round illegally, so it's a penalty against you.
I'll leave that scrummaging talk to you, Jim. That's not my bag. But you know, Treviso are their own worst enemies. When they make a break, they knock the ball on, and they've given away 2 pretty soft penalties so far.
Well, that hasn't found touch. And Hayward, who made that initial break, is inside his 22, and he's launched that long, and Liliafano touches it. It's gone back into the 22. This is what he's good at. This is good support play from his half-back partner, John Cooney. Also needs somebody to go to scrum half. Louis Ludick, I think, is obliging.
No, back.
Slow coming back. Oh, that's good stuff by big Matty Ray. Cooney again. Liliafano. Just about the right amount of weight on that for Andrew Trimble to chase. And Trimble got the paws on it, but Jaden Hayward was just that little bit more accurate. That's good work by Benetton's number 15. Lining up to take it on, prop forward Federico Zani, part of an all-international Italian front row. Tebaldi. That is a teaser. Well taken. And good support from his captain, Andrew Trimble. Bow, nicely done. Here goes McCluskey. Doesn't have too many with him. Little chip by McCluskey. Well, he was half blocked there by Tebaldi, and wasn't very subtle at all, and it's only going to be a penalty, and it's going to be a penalty, Paddy, where the ball landed. Not clever by Tebaldi. It was a bit of a chance.
No, he didn't need to. He had his fullback coming across and covering, but lovely deft hands by Tommy Bowen, that outside channel. There didn't seem to be much space to play with there, but per defence by the Treviso winger hitting in on him, and Stuart McCluskey showing some deft touches, chipping the ball over Tebaldi. 6'3", 16.5 stone. Chip and regather's not a bad skill to have as a centre.
Yeah, particularly when you're that size. Worth mentioning that the biggest centre also produced in absolute years is Chris Farrell, who's playing down now with Munster. Brief stoppage there for Tommaso Benvenuti. So Ulster, having garnered a 3rd penalty in a row from referee Dan Jones, are in a very good position.
And choosing not to kick at the sticks, so
Okay, penalty, lads.
the Ulster pack fancy a go at
Lads,
this
hasn't
Treviso
time is
pack
off
to
for
try and
injury.
go for the 5-pointer rather than the 3.
Referee's called for a break. Somebody getting a little bit of attention, it would seem.
No, sorry.
Don't think it's an Ulster player. I can't see anybody being attended to.
I think they took the penalty kick to the corner a bit too early.
Oh. Well, maybe he'll get it even closer. Still the same
Okay,
5
lads,
metre or
okay,
so.
give him the gap.
Not quite sure what all that was about. 8 minutes played. 1 break, courtesy of the home side, but this is a crucial line-out. Again, they make a mess of it. It's knocked forward by Treviso, and Andrew Trimble goes all the way through. And Ulster's captain is going to get the first try of this particular game. Treviso stood and looked at him, and try number 46 in the Celtic League. Now the Pro 14 for Ulster's captain, Andrew Trimble, and it was as soft as anything.
I'm not sure they'll claim that was a set piece. It was a line-out that went wrong. It was tapped back. And so often in those situations, the defence isn't in a set position. Andrew Trimble exploited that with some nice footwork and was able to go pretty much untouched over to the line.
Well, it was knocked back, and I don't know whether Benetton thought it was knocked forward by Ulster. We're waiting for the referee to award them a scrummage, but it didn't happen, and Andrew Trimble just tiptoed his way through.
And Benetton just claiming a bit of an obstruction by Sean Reedy, but if Sean Reedy isn't doing a bit of obstruction, he's not doing his job as a 7, so he opened up a nice hole there for Trimble to exploit.
And John Cooney, who kicked 10 points for Ulster in his debut at the Kingspan Stadium last week, has added the conversion. So we are just about 9 minutes into the first half here at the Stadio Manigo, and Ulster leading by 7 points to 0. Once again, it's not McKinley taking the restart kicks, it's inside centre Tommy Allen, who's played at 10. So we've got 2 very good footballers at 10 and 12 for the home side. Here's another very good one, Louis Ludic. Runs into Tommaso Benvenuti. Cooney.
Release, green!
Which again, Kieran Treadwell takes it on. Cooney's kept that infield, and again Trimble chasing, and it's Trimble against Hayward, and it was kicked from inside the 22, so nothing wrong with the kick. Quite a good one as it turned out.
Quite a good one.
On the line, please, yeah.
Probably looking for Andrew to challenge on that, but it just drifted away into touch. It shows that there is a slight bit of wind there.
Lads, numbers, please, really.
Centre frame Matthew Ray, just 23 years of age. Well taken to Baldy. Big solid drive forward there by Bram Stein, who starts at very late notice. Dean Budd, who scored a hat-trick against Ulster at Ravenhill about 5 or 6 years ago, is now on the bench. That's a late change on the team. We only got that about 2 as the teams were coming out. Tabaldi, loose head prop. Zani knocks it forward, and Ulster get the scrum. A lot of mistakes from
another
Benetton.
unforced error by Benetton, and they want to start fast as well.
Last scrum, there was a slight
Make Ulster feel that they're in a
Bit
ball
more,
game,
yeah.
but they're gifting Ulster territory. They're gifting Ulster penalties.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not a great start from Benetton.
A bit upset with himself. Federico Zani, the 28-year-old, played in all 3 of Italy's summer tests against Scotland and Singapore, and against Japan and against Australia, all off the bench. Another half minute's gone. Good start for Ulster.
Set. No.
Home wins for Edinburgh and Leinster today, and for Glasgow against the Ospreys. Ulster will not want the home side to win this one, I'm sure. Here's McCluskey. Sets it up nicely, and Ulster give away the penalty.
Survive the clear out.
Yeah, per breakdown work there from Ulster. It was a good gain line by McCluskey as always. He seems to, even though you know it's coming, he always seems to get 5-6 yards beyond the gain line, and that sets everybody on the front foot. So it's a very poor ruck to lose.
Reedy went right over it there,
Right over,
completely
missed
off his
his
feet.
man, yeah.
So
It gives Treviso a chance for a point.
it does. It's a long way out, but it's straight in front of the post. It's
There is a
getting a little
movement
bit on the
together
dark
engagement.
side, and I'm sort of
Okay,
looking
allow you
around,
guys
and
to
it's got
set off the
it's
touch
got
ball
quite
off his
dull,
hand.
and there's some ominous looking rain clouds not too far away. We had a thunderstorm this morning, and then all of a sudden it cleared, and it was a lovely afternoon, mid to late. And it's Ian McKinley has decided to have a pop at the Ulster post with some 13 minutes gone. Former Irish under-20 international, played for Leinster and then had an awful injury which cost him the sight of an eye, and he's had a special dispensation to wear goggles. Coached for a little while over here, then returned to playing once he got the go-ahead, and here he is now established in the Pro 14. Left-footed kick, and hasn't quite made it. So nearly 14 minutes gone, and still 7-0 to Ulster.
Well, let off for Ulster there. They want to establish some possession and keep possession. It's been start-stop, mistakes from both sides. Ulster will want to put a firm grip on this this first half and score the next points and give them a bit of a cushion going into the next 20 minutes.
Longish by Lealiafano, taken in by Benvenuti, who's well taken to ground by Tommy Bowe, who gets back to his feet quickly. Tebaldi, really suspiciously offside, but the referee's let him away with it. Quick release by the home side. Jaden Hayward, who caused a little bit of mayhem in the Ulster defence early on. Back again on the home side. Hayward quickly into position. This is nicely done. Good transfer to Esposito, who can really shift, but he's decided perhaps a bit prematurely to put boot the ball. I thought he might have taken another yard or two out of that one.
Yeah, they got across the gain line again and then kicked away possession. I don't think he wanted to go into touch, mind you, but yeah, Treviso are offering some direct running, and then they look to put a little bit of width on the play, but not very threatening to Ulster at the moment.
Better line out for Ulster. It's been knocked backward by John Dazel. Here goes McCluskey, who's been pretty prominent so far. Better Ulster line out.
Use it!
Referee telling John Cooney to use it. He's outside his 22, so he's had to keep that in field.
Backwards, play on.
Knocked backward by McKinley. Jaden Hayward. Benvenuti in the outside centre position where he played last week. Tebaldi. Scragged by Tommy Bowe. Sean Reedy is in there to help. Home side just inside Ulster's half.
No!
As Francesco Minto, who captained the side last week, took it on. Good transfer. Benvenuti comes inside where he's met by Andrew Trimble, Ulster's captain and try scorer so far. Tebaldi. He's put a lot of height in that. Here's Ludic.
50-50 play on, backwards off green. Backwards.
Came backward off a green hand, said the referee. It was 50-50, well smuggled by Benetton. Good ground made to Baldi. Absolute thump on second row forward, Marco Lazzaroni. McKinley. Well, handling's a bit fumbly. It's a good burst of acceleration, though, by Federico Ruzza, who's normally a back row forward for the men in green and white.
Lost, no, ain't no. Lost, clear out, leave it.
Up to the 22. It's one of the new signings of Wetu Douglas, the 26-year-old from Rotorua in New Zealand.
No, he's off his feet now, let go.
Benetton come thundering in there, and something went right over the top, but the referee's happy enough. It's all very slow. Here they go again. Tight head prop Simone Ferrari. Benvenuti tries to get it in behind Ulster's defence, and just not the right amount of pressure on it.
Yeah, good defence by Ulster again, forcing the kick, but I think Les Kiss should be liking them to get a bit wider in defence so they can get off the line a bit stronger. And I know Treviso are going very close to the ruck with their runners, but they seem to be getting exploited the odd time out in the wide channels.
Well taken at the back by Ray. Here's his back row colleague, John Deisel. Now Cooney, little switch.
Winger's good, you're good.
Lealiafano, referee saying Andrew Trimble is onside. This is McKinley. Gets outside Robbie Dyack. Onto the front foot yet again. Allen Jaden Hayward. Gathered in by Ludic, who saw a bit of a space. Probably wanted that to go closer to the touchline. And this is Benvenuti. And it's another kick. And it's well covered again by Ulster. Jacob Stockdale, good to see him with ball in hand. Good bit of acceleration. Stockdale deceptively quick, those big long legs of his churning. Here comes Diesel, who was man of the match at the Kingspan last week. Over the top by Benetton, and Ulster get the penalty.
Pass the ball.
It's within reasonable kicking range, but one wonders, will Andrew Trimble up for the corner?
No, exciting to see Jacob Stockdale back in the pitch, having won his first Irish cap in the summer over the tour in the USA. He's electrifying, very, very, very quick, as you said, deceptively so. Big boy as well, very, very strong, and was able to eat up 20 yards there very, very quickly.
Yeah, it was a try-scoring debut for Jacob Stockdale, as it was for the man just moved out of the shot there, Tommy Bowe. All those years ago against the USA, 2004. But then, as Tommy was saying, he was only 9 years of age at the time.
Tommy was very quick to tell me in the warm-up there as he caught me that he recorded his fastest speed distance travelled in the Cheetahs game last week for 4 years. So there's life in the old dog yet, he says.
And that wasn't in the Mercedes, no. So it's John Cooney, who has a conversion of the Andrew Trimble try to his credit, with as we come up to the end of the first quarter here, and somewhat sparsely populated Stadio Monaco, you have to say. Benetton Treviso will watch this and hope that it either goes wide or at the worst comes off a post. So Cooney to take Ulster into double figures. He's taking his time. He's chipped that, he's given it plenty of height. Has he got the direction right? And the answer is no, he hasn't. So McKinley misses, Cooney misses, and it stays as it did, as it was after just 8 minutes, where Andrew Trimble scored and Cooney converted 7-0 to Ulster.
Cooney would be disappointed. I was watching him warm up with Kevin Geary there, kicking, must have been good 20 balls at the post. I didn't see one miss, so he'd be disappointed to miss that first one.
Well, they say it's better to have a bad dress rehearsal than a bad first night. Restart by Allen. Ludic. Socks down around the ankles. As the goal himself runs into Benvenuti. And also Francesco Minto. Here's Diesel. Cooney. Liliafano. Callum Black in the inside centre position.
Tackle release.
Good roll by Black and good presentation. Cooney, nicely done, looking for a wee gap there. This is Vian Herbst, who will not be looking for a gap, but be looking for somebody to run over. Well away by Cooney under pressure. McCluskey, Tommy Bowe, lovely angle by Tommy Bowe. And a good straighten once again, pops it back inside, it's still there. And it was knocked forward by a Benetton player and gathered by another one who was in front, and Ulster taking this one quickly. And there goes Sean Reedy. So we'll worry about the explanation of all that in a second. Here goes Vian Herbst.
Release, tackle, let go.
Looking for his third league try. Cooney, Ulster have men out wide if they can shift this. Nicely taken on. That looked very high to me, but well presented by Ulster. Liliafano moves wide to Stockdale. It was forward. And it's going to be a scrum, and Ulster really should have scored there. But what a good attack, and what another fine line taken by Tommy Bowe, as he did last week in Belfast.
Yeah, fine line by Tommy, and lovely subtlety from Stuart McCluskey there with the pass to put him into space, but he just ran out of support and had to take the tackle. But I think that was tight, whether or not that was forward. I wouldn't mind if he took that to the video referee, but obviously a scoring try, a scoring pass.
Well, the referee said straight away that it was forward. Is he likely to go upstairs just for clarification of that? He may well say, was that a try and can I award it? There's a bit of a stoppage there. There's an injury to the Benetton hooker, Luca Bigi.
What's that? You had a penalty and then, okay, no, there's no advantage.
So Ulster took the quick penalty. and there was no advantage from it, so the scrum is going to stand, and Ulster will have to get a bit of a squeeze on. So Benetton fortunate there not to have conceded a second try.
Well, I like that decision to tap and go for the jugular, go for the score, try and get that bonus point away from home. It's a good mindset to have. Just need to be slightly more clinical.
Tebaldi will have the put in.
Bind! Set! No more, wait.
Good scrum by Benetton. Picked up by number 8, halfway to Douglas.
That's fine.
And Tommaso Allen gets it away. Knocked backward by Louis Ludic. A rather ribald cheer from the Spartish crowd here. But it is still going to be an Ulster line-out.
Across the plane, it's no issues.
Yeah, it sort of stopped them from taking the quick line out. Forwards will probably be breathing a sigh of relief. They can get some rest at the line out now.
Wait, screen, wait in.
Rob Herring. Cooney standing in the outside half position. McCluskey. Ulster haven't got beyond that gain line. This is Matthew Ray. Pushed back to halfway. Eliafano. Ludic. Nicely done. Gets it away to Trimble. Trimble going for a second. He's got support from Cooney. Lovely sidestep by Ulster's scrum half. Trimble's there. Wonderful interplay by Ulster, and Trimble gets his second try.
Fantastic
but
try.
It was a lovely, I beg your pardon, Pat, it was a lovely piece of interplay.
Fantastic, fantastic, and a great offload from Louis Ludic out of the tackle. And you know, second touches are very important. Andrew Trimble went for a second touch and has scored a try. Remember, Matt Williams always used to say, you get a second touch, you'll set up a try. You get a third touch, you'll be scoring the try.
Well, Andrew Trimble did all the running there and did all the support work, and he kept the ball in two hands, and he looked inside him, and look at Cooney's wonderful little sleight of hand, and Andrew Trimble saw that nobody was going to challenge him. Great finish for Ulster's captain. His and Ulster's second try of the evening. Makes it look a wee bit more comfortable.
And Ulster deserved that as well. They've been the only team showing a bit of ambition in attack, and the class in player is evident as well, because we're getting across the gain line. We're also getting offloads. We're getting behind the Treviso defence and causing them all sorts of trouble. Probably left 2 tries out there already.
Well, John Cooney has added a second conversion to Ulster's second try. Almost 25 minutes gone here in Italy, and Ulster leading by 14 points to 0.
I don't think we have to vary from the game plan so far. It's been effective. You know, we've got a nice cushion. We don't have to try and start spinning the ball and look for extra tries. Just do what we're doing, and the tries will come.
Yeah, just even at this early stage of the season, I just get the feeling that there's an upping of the skill set that Ulster are employing. They're more likely now to try something to move the ball and try that little clever sleight of hand.
Yeah. Certainly, and it comes from confidence in the men around you and the style of game that you're actually playing. I don't think there's any confusion. It's a very obvious game plan, but it's very effective as well when you've got the calibre of players that we do.
Dan Jones telling the home side to hurry up and decide how many men they want in the line out, and to implement that they're being very slow at getting in. BG with the throw. It's nicely taken at the front. Back inside to Ben Venuti, who steps inside Matthew Ray, who'll not be happy with that one. It was half blocked, mind you, but that's good defending on the 22 by Ulster. Dr. Douglas, formerly of the Crusaders. Minto into the 22. This is McKinney, wee bit more zip now. Hayward gets away yet again and gets outside, and it's going to be a try, I'm pretty sure, for Esposito, who gets in. And Ulster's defence tested for only the second time, and they've conceded a try, and Louis Ludic is asking the referee to have a look at that.
Okay, Sean, you got me. Try yes or no.
Again, Jacob Stockdale just caught a wee bit narrow in defence there. Oh, and he was right to look up, because that right leg could have drifted into the whitewash.
Well, we can't see it from that angle. The angle of the camera from behind, and John Cooney saying, referee, he was in touch. And let's have another look at that. You don't know whether that was forward or not from that particular angle. There was nobody at home on that far side for Ulster. Great tackle by Cooney. Oh, he wasn't. That was touch. That's not going to be a try. Wonderful tackle by John Cooney. He saved a try for Ulster last week.
Fantastic animation from Ludic and Cooney to persuade the ref and the touch judge to go up to the video referee, because obviously not a try. And
I don't think there was Sean Brickell had any hesitation in saying that was not a try. Well, Ulster have got to get this one right. They've shortened the line out to just four men close to their own line. Dyak took it nicely.
And that's a let off now. Yeah. Ulster can clear their lines and take that pressure off. I just think
I've spoken to you once, now you're
a couple of times now in the outside channels we've been caught in defence. Jacob Stockdale there just got tied down, flat-footed, and was easily palmed off to create that try-scoring opportunity. You just need to stay square on and make your tackles.
It was the Benetton scrum half Tito Tebaldi who was offside at the line-out. The referee penalised him. And Christian Leliafano has found a touch, and Herring has a chance now to feed this Ulster line-out. That's another decent one. Cooney, Leliafano, McCluskey, good flat pass. Cooney's distribution is pretty good. That's well done. Here goes Louis Ludic. That might just have been forward. Well, that was try number 3. Apart from perhaps a coat of paint, how close was that?
That looked very, very tight again.
Pass, call from the side.
Call from the touch judge. The referee was in very close vicinity to make the decision himself, but he got the call from the touch judge there. I would like to have another close look at that.
Well, Louis Ludic ran a wonderful angle, but the pass that he received might just have been forward. Well, certainly Dan Jones thought so, and we haven't had another look at it, so we have to assume that the referee got that one absolutely spot on.
But a nice set play straight out of the Joe Smith, Rob Kearney playbook. I've seen it many times used by Leinster, and obviously very effective there, just deemed to go forward.
Benetton have most of their backs out this near side. There goes McKinley, Allen, Scarby the skipper. Tommy Bowe nails him. Tebaldi again gets it away quickly. Up very quickly was Robbie Dyak. The crowd thought he might well have been offside, but the referee was happy. McKinley steps inside, very nearly got away. Got in between two front row forwards, which was a good bit of reading of the game. Hayward gets it away. Well played by Bramstein. Bundled into touch, and Ulster defending.
Too many touch, yeah.
Well, 14-0 looks okay on the score sheet, but Treviso have come back into this. Well, ball has gone into touch, and we pop back to Belfast and get a comment from Ian Humphreys.
Yeah, I just thought we'd talk about how well Cooney's been doing. Obviously, in attack, he's made that early clean break, but he's getting the break down early and getting the ball away and giving Ulster good pace on himself. And Leliafano with his quick tap penalties really increasing the tempo which the Treviso are struggling to keep up with, and then obviously align that with his try-saving tackle. I think it's been a good performance all round.
Thank you, Ian. Dan Jones is there. Jacob Stockdale seems to have bumped something. Maybe just came down on the point of his shoulder. Gareth Robinson, Ulster's senior physio man, is there. And Stockdale seems to be okay. Tito Tebaldi always has something to say in every matter.
Water off, please.
Sporting a little nick courtesy of last week's game.
Waiting, lads, waiting.
In Munster. There's Kieran Treadwell. Yeah, just 21 years of old. Started 7 of last season's games for Ulster.
Max, yeah, step off. Thank you. That's fine.
Herring playing his 121st game. Again, that's good. Cooney. Oh, look at this. This is really good stuff by Ulster, and by Stockdale. Seems to be fine again. Cooney thought about the kick, I think. Good work by Matthew Ray. Dyak has circled round. Now it's back to Leliafano under a wee bit of pressure there from Tebaldi. Trimble knocked it backward. and into touch, and that was carried into touch, I think, by Tommaso Benvenuti. So it's going to be an Ulster line-out, and somebody didn't like that decision by the touch judge on the near side. Ian Davies, he very rarely gets it wrong.
A few Prada handbags being thrown around there by the backs there. Not a forward inside.
Not allowed to do it anymore.
No.
11. And captain, please. No. Lads, come here. No, lads. Okay, the players want to take a quick throwing, legally so, and he's held this up, causing a pushing and shoving, okay? I'm going to go for the line out, but if any more, you will be penalised. Is that clear? No more. Okay, just go back 10, please. We'll go for the line out, lads, please.
That's good refereeing by Dan Jones, telling Tommaso Benvenuti that he's not allowed to stop the other team from taking a quick line out. Well won by Treadwell in the middle of the line out. Diesel, good angle. Knocked on by Ulster. Advantage being played to Benetton, and they couldn't take advantage of it. Stuart McCluskey may just have fumbled it forward, and it's going to be a Benetton scrum. It's been a scrappy old first half. I mean, obviously Ulster will be pleased, Paddy, with the 14-0 lead, but it hasn't been wonderful in terms of a rugby spectacle.
No, it's been fairly start-stop, and poor Stuart McCluskey won't be thanking Jean Diesel there for that hospital pass. Really set him up for a big blow, but yes, they'll be happy with the lead going into half-time, but, well, 10 minutes still in the first half to play, but, you know, they've just gone off the boil a wee bit, they're making unforced errors, and they're not getting out of their own half at ease.
Well, Ulster's record, as we mentioned earlier, away from home has not been all that desperately good. Only 2 wins on the road since last December.
No more, 9.
Dragons on this particular side. Negri.
Knock on, play advantage, Black.
So it's not Negri, it's the Douglas Negri is not playing. Ulster have come away with it. McCluskey tries to release Stockdale. Steps back inside and gets up to the 10-metre line and is bundled into touch, and that's going to be a line out to Benetton Treviso.
Again, very start-stop, and I would see that as an error for going into touch, because he didn't need to. He flirted with the touchline too much, needed to get away from the touchline and maintain possession. Now we give possession straight back to Treviso, and as you say, it doesn't make it for a very entertaining game whenever start-stop every 30 seconds.
Well, first proper game since June, when he played for Ireland against Japan, having debuted against the USA and scored a try. That didn't look straight.
That's outside.
And Dan Jones said outside by a mile, so Ulster will have the option, scrum or line out, and they're going to take the scrummage as they tend to do. Bit of shrug of the shoulders there from Marco Lazzaroni, for whom that was meant.
I think Ulster need to vary the point of attack. You saw when they did it once with that set piece move out of the Joe Schmidt playbook that sent Ludic right through. Unfortunately, a forward pass. Treviso weren't expecting it, and so far it's been very one-dimensional. Head up with McCluskey, round the corner with Diesel. It's very easy to defend. You can get off the line, you can smash it, which Treviso have done for the first 30 minutes.
First untidy scrum of the evening, and just a look at the sky. There's a wee bits of blue and a few fluffy clouds around, but dullish. But it's not a bad day for playing rugby. It's quite muggy in here. We're behind a fair old bit of glass. We're protected from any rain that may come, but it is a bit on the muggy side. 7 minutes or just under to go to half time. Ulster get another score by the interval. It will certainly put them in a very good place for the second 40 minutes. Front row threatening to collapse on the far side.
No.
On the far side, the assistant referee or touch judge at Old Money is Claudio Blasano.
Front rows here, please. Yeah, thank you. Come here, lads.
And the referee is going to have a word with the respective front rows.
Okay,
they were behaving themselves up until this one.
It seems to happen that side and vice versa. Let's sort it out and let's get it in, please. Yeah, keep your elbows up.
You see in the stadium the flags are starting to pick up a bit. There's a bit of wind now being created, favouring Ulster in the second half, I have to say.
Yes, well spotted, Patrick. So the front rows have been admonished for messing about. Referee incidentally is going over to the other side. Ian Herbst on the tight head side for Ulster, nearest to the camera in the front row. Irish qualified now.
It's out. It's out. Ball is
Cooney
out.
just overran it slightly. Stockdale in off the wing. That's cleverly done by Stockdale. He's got nice feet as well as a lot of pace. Cooney. Kieran Treadwell. Cooney again. Better stuff, Deisel. Now Cooney. That's nicely done. Ludick, lovely transfer. Here goes Stockdale. Foot on the gas. He's nearly got away. Gets it back inside to Cooney. The pass was good. The crowd thought it might have been forward.
There go. Advantage off his feet, 9.
Penalty coming to Ulster for advantage, and they have a goal on the narrow side, and it's Tommy Bowe just bundled into touch.
9.
But they'll take the penalty, and from there, I think, Paddy, it'll be into the corner, looking for the third try before half-time.
I think so. Stockdale's a joy to watch, isn't he, with ball in hand? Just made the gain line so easy, and again, they mixed up the point of attack there, created the overlap on the wide left, and very close to getting in for another try there. But we have left a few tries out there, but we're creating the chances, which I guess is a very big positive for us.
5 minutes to go. The TMO Sean Brickell told his fellow Welshman Dan Jones, 5 to go, mate. And into the corner it goes. Now Ulster have got to get all the parts of this right. They've got to get the call right, the lift right, the throw right, the catch the right, the drive right. And all being equal, they might even get the try. Well, that's the first 2 bits done. Throw and catch, Deisel at the front, being manhandled a wee bit.
9 once.
Sean Reedy tucked into the back.
Twice, use it.
Now Ulster have to use it. Well, they're still driving forward. Cleverly done by Ulster. It didn't release.
Kept and playable. Going forward, broken away, scrum, black ball.
And Ulster have got the 5-metre scrum. A ruck had been formed. The ball went to ground. And Ulster were moving forward. And they get the put into the scrum. Now, this is the most important scrum of the entire half.
It is, yeah, and the right decision from the referee. It wasn't a maul. It was Rob Herring who broke off, detached himself from the maul. And it was a tackle situation. He got the ball to ground, and it's Ulster scrum for because they were the team going forward. You could hear a few groans from the crowd wanting the possession to go Benetton's way, but not so. But yeah, very, very important actually, with 4 minutes left on the clock to come away with points here.
Rob Herring went down on his shoulder and rolled over, but he was fit enough to present the ball, and there is a bit of a stoppage. I think it might be Angelo Esposito who's in a bit of trouble. John Cooney having a word with his half-back partner, Christian Liliafano. Performed pretty well in their first competitive game a week ago at Kingspan, as did the youngster who came on for his first Ulster cap, Matthew Ray. Big scrum this.
You can see Cooney coming into play here, maybe an 8-9, and have Stockdale and McCluskey running down the channel of the 10-12 and make them make the right decision on who to tackle. I wouldn't like those two running down my channel.
Well, that's the wider view I was looking for, because it just shows that Jacob Stockdale is directly behind the Ulster scrum and poised to come in either at outside half or at inside centre, assuming Ulster win the ball, which they have done. Now they're going to try to get a squeeze on here. Referees told them to use it. Cooney, McCluskey as ever, willing and strong. Better from Ulster. Robbie Dyack. Well tackled there by big Marco Lazzarone, and here come the men in blue again.
6 blacks, entry. Okay, stopping the contest, 6 black.
Very, very predictable play there from Ulster. Just a one-out runner from Shirt McCluskey, round the corner twice, and Deisel and Robbie Dyack there, and penalised. It's like Ronseal, you know exactly what they're going to do. It's very easy to defend then. You can get off the line, you can be aggressive in your defence. There was no subtlety to that play, and probably Ulster didn't deserve to score.
Deisel got penalised before he touched the ball. So Benetton Treviso have cleared their lines with the 2.5 minutes of the first half remaining. Ian McKinley finds a pretty decent touch, and they may try to run the ball from here if they can get possession from the line out there, just inside their own 10-metre line. 2 tries so far, both to Ulster's skipper Andrew Trimble. Tries number 46 and 47 in this league, on this the occasion of his 150th league appearance. Well taken by Lazzarone.
Winger's good.
Back to Tribaldi. He's brought it in field. Stockdale, who's pretty comfortable at full back as well. It was outside the 22, but he hasn't put it directly into touch.
Wait, mark it back, lad.
That might just roll. Andrew Trimble gathers. into touch. Benetton thought about the quick throw, but there was nobody really there to accept it. So they'll have to take the regular line. Good strike by Andrew Trimble.
Yeah, good strike. Not so great a strike by Mr. Stockdale. I think with his skills in the air, he should be trying to put snow on that ball and chase after and try and regain possession. But a bit of football tennis there.
Might be the last set piece of this first half. McKinley, Allen, Jaden Hayward. Tackled first of all by McCluskey and then Tommy Bowe. Still inside their own half, the home side. Up quickly was Rob Herring.
Advantage. Penalty advantage.
Also giving away the penalty. That's into a wee bit of space. Advantage being played. Esposito has got pretty blistering pace. Referee's still playing advantage, I think. To Balde. McKinley looks for a crossfield. Gathered in by Stockdale, and the referee had played advantage, and Stockdale makes the fair catch to the old-fashioned mark and will get the chance to put the ball into touch. So Ulster occasionally living dangerously.
They were, yeah, and they were exploited down the left-hand side there. Once they had the penalty advantage, Hayward made a lovely kick and gather. Loose kick here from Stockdale, puts us under pressure.
That was a pretty awful kick by Stockdale, and he probably knows that Jaden Hayward, who made the first genuine break of the match right at the start, seems a long time ago. Penalty against Treviso.
Lovely steal by Jean.
And I don't think there's enough
Diesel
time
there
to kick the ball into touch and go for the line out.
Last play, yeah, time's up. If you kick it out though, we have the line out, you tap and kick.
So it's going to be a tap and kick.
Kick it at the end of the play.
If they kick it directly into touch, then
they'll have to play the line out.
They'll have to play the line out. Well, he has kicked it directly into touch. And Ulster have got the line out, so they're going for broke at the end of this first half.
That's all.
5-man Ulster line out. Callum Black at the front. Good take at the back by Ray. Diesel. Probably missing his partner in crime, Marcel Coetzee, to add that extra bit of nastiness in the back row. Robbie Dyack.
Tackle.
Leaves it for Rob Herring. Cooney. Lelia Fano. No way through. But that's well presented by Ulster. Now there's a bit of a chance. Herring.
3, stay there.
Cooney again. McCluskey at outside half. Well, they've wrapped him up. He was rather upright. Trimble in off the wing.
Advantage green.
The referee's playing advantage to Treviso, I think, from an Ulster knock forward. They lost possession, certainly, which they probably shouldn't have. McKinley, bit of width on it. That was Douglas. This is Tommaso Allen.
He's off the ball, ball is available.
Back in the Benetton side, clock still ticking away. Played nearly 2 minutes past the 40 in this first half. One tight head propping another. Vian Herbst Simone Ferrari. To Balde. McKinley doesn't want to kick it. Here's Hayward, who does want to kick it, strangely enough. Louis Ludick will just amble into touch, and the referee blows the whistle for the end of the first half. 42 minutes played, just the 2 tries, but from an Ulster perspective, the fact that they're both from their captain Andrew Trimble makes all the difference.
Yeah, some good, some bad. There were one quite fortunate try, one fantastic try, but a couple of tries left out there, a couple of opportunities that we didn't take, so still plenty to work on in the second half, but a good start.
Andrew Trimble on 8 minutes, and again on 23 minutes, 2 conversions by John Cooney. Benetton Treviso 0 and Ulster 14.
Well, there's been a couple of moments of brilliance from Andrew Trimble, the captain leading from the front. Benetton had 1 try disallowed. But it has been frustrating to watch at times. But it's Ulster who are halfway to a bonus point. Stephen Ferris and Ian Humphreys have been watching. How would you describe that first half? I said frustrating. What would you say?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Very frustrating. I think the coaches, even though they've had a lot of possession, won't be happy with the way Ulster performed. Unforced errors, not retaining possession, not going through the phases. Like, we haven't seen multi-phase play by Ulster at all in that first half. A fortuitous bounce into Andrew Trimble's hand for the first try. A moment of brilliance from Cooney for the second try. So, Treviso aren't great. It's called how it is. They aren't great, and Ulster should put this side away and have to go back to the top and say that they probably win by 30 points, 40 points, because this Treviso team are just not at the races.
Ian, how can Ulster be so dynamic last week, but a little lethargic at times, seemingly tonight?
Yeah, we sort of talked about it off air there, and I think they're really missing Coetzee, and the fact that Dysel's now playing 8 instead of 6, it just changes the dynamic a little bit, and they're not getting the front foot ball that they were, and they're not holding on to the ball they were. I think when you play the Italian side, whether it's internationally with Ireland against Ireland or whether it's playing in provincial, they like to spoil it, they like to disrupt, they throw extra numbers into rucks, and they make it really difficult to get fluid play. And Ulster really sort of seem to struggle to get over the gain line early and get the phases together. And whether or not they're trying to overcomplicate it slightly, sometimes it's getting that balance of being predictable like they were near the line, but trying to force it as they have done a few times.
From a lost line out last week, Ulster got a score, and same thing today.
Yeah, it's still 7 points, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And when the ball does bounce like that, sometimes the defensive team can be at 6s and 7s. And fair play to Andrew Trimble. He still has to get over the line and finish it. He uses some good footwork to bounce around Sean Reedy, who's doing a good job of blocking off their tail gunner in the line out. But you take them when they come, and that was Ulster 7-0 up.
Yeah, I mean, 2 tries for Andrew Trimble in the first half, and it's what you want to see from captain on the day, isn't it?
It is. I'm sure he's quite frustrated that last year didn't probably go to plan as he would have liked, and obviously over the last couple of years he hasn't had the run of games, but he looked sharp out there, the few opportunities he had, but it's just difficult. But this is a great try. This starts with Louis Ludick, a lovely offload, and then, as Paddy said in the commentary, the fact that Andrew Trimble and John Cooney are following through the line. You watch Cooney's support line here, instead of looking for the ball, he's heading upfield, and he gets his hands here, and Trimble just doesn't let the tackler take him out, which is poor from Treviso. Defensive coaches would always say, if the boy's about to pass, you take him out so he can't get that second touch. But this energy, this should have been what was the catalyst for another few tries, but they just haven't managed to finish it off.
I suppose that's what's the frustrating thing. When Ulster do have the ball in hand, sometimes they look so good, but then at times perhaps seem to switch off a little.
They do, and it seems to be more away from home. We were talking about it off air as well. There doesn't seem to be that energy. You're going away to Benetton, there's not 15,000 screaming Ulster fans there. The amount of support that the Ulster team have, and they just don't seem to have that energy, have that same appetite to get the goal forward and to hold on to the ball, go through multi-phase, wear a team down. They're playing away from home, and hopefully we see a little bit more of that in the second half. Yeah,
didn't take advantage perhaps of some good breaks in that first half.
Yeah, I think that'll be the frustration, that they did make a few line breaks and didn't finish them off. But I think to look on the bright side, at least they've been making the line breaks. There were times last year we would have sat here and complained that they weren't making breaks, and I think it's just showing that obviously they've got the confidence to try and play a little bit, and it's just key that they keep the positive attitude, because this could easily have led to a try, and it's nice to see that they're playing with a little bit of ambition, but it's just they just need to be accurate against these Italian teams. You can put a few scores together and they'll go out the gate pretty quickly.
That's exactly what Les Kiss and John O'Gibbs, Dwayne Peel will be talking about at half time. When you make those half breaks, when you get in behind this Benetton team, you get the 5 points, or you get a penalty and you kick it over and you continue to build a score. But for me, Ulster have got this wrapped up pretty much at half time here, and it's just about going out there, expressing yourself. The players who have been given an opportunity this week, the 5 lads that have been in replacement, we'll see Luke Marshall hopefully come off the bench for his Ulster first appearance this season. Another 14 points is going to be very, very easy for Ulster in the second half if they continue to make these sort of breaks.
And Tommy Bowe at 13, nice break for him there.
Yeah, Tommy's looked sharp with ball in hand. What I've enjoyed watching today is you'll see quite often teams are very structured, but each ruck has to have 3 cleaners, a ball carrier plus 3. There's been a couple of times where Ulster get over the gain line and the rucks are cleaned by one person. Ball sitting on the plate, first guy there pass it, whether it's scrum half, whether it's a forward, and that's just encouraging quick ball and heads up rugby, which quite often teams now get so worried about structure and who's cleaning what ruck. It's actually quite refreshing to see Ulster looking out to just play what's in front of them.
What have you made of Cooney's performance so far? Obviously he made that great try saving tackle, but his all-round game.
Yeah, well, you know, we're obviously going to, for me personally, I think we're going to miss Ruan Pinar a little bit this season, especially when it comes to the tougher games. But he has an armchair ride, especially last week. He's performed really well this week, and it's his support, it's his work rate. You know, as soon as he passes the ball, he doesn't give up. He's looking for that break in the inside, and many times we see Ruan Pinar do that also. And look at that for a cover tackle. You know, the referee gave the try, and there was Louis Ludick was adamant that he was in touch, and John Cooney said that also, and bang, just a foot in touch, no try. And that was a turning point in well, not a turning point, but it was a time in the game where it would have went 14-5 or 14-7, and again it could have given that little bit of confidence to Benetton, but not so.
We'll talk more about Cooney in a moment, but first time for our half-time feature. When foreign players arrive in Northern Ireland, most choose to live close to Ulster Rugby headquarters in Belfast. But that's not always the case. Some of Ulster's South African players have opted for the rural lifestyle. Gavin Andrews went to find out more.
The rolling hills of Dromara, County Down, are a world away from the landscapes of South Africa. But Marcel Kotsia calls this place home, and he's helping his countrymen settle in.
Well, I think in South Africa, you know, when I was growing up, I lived on a sugarcane plantation farm, and I just always loved the outdoors lifestyle, you know. Just for me personally, I like the outdoors nature of the aspect, and looking at Northern Ireland's country, it's really beautiful. Outlands and skirts, you know, it's really humble to be here. The peaceful quietness, the community itself is very warming, and they welcomed a guy very easily and just made it a lot more easier for me, my wife, and in general, yeah. So.
I grew up on a farm in South Africa. Now I had the opportunity when I came here to go back to the farm. So yeah, I'm outside there in Kells, so nice open lands, don't see a house around me, and it's just been lovely.
Well, I've really enjoyed having Skulk here. John is a bit of a hardhead, you know. No. Well, me and John, we actually played together at the Sharks, you know, so it was very nice hearing him coming over, you know. He sort of showed me the way in my early stages of my career, you know, so it was awesome having him here at Ulster.
The atmosphere was phenomenal. I mean, like running out there is one of the best feelings I've had, and I've played in a lot of stadiums all over the world, and it was really special for me running out in an Ulster jersey on Friday and talking to the guys afterwards as well. The Cheetahs guys, they were dumbstruck about the atmosphere at Kingspan, so I know it was a phenomenal feeling.
The way just people kick to post is just dead quiet. I was speaking to my wife at the moment, and I actually stopped talking. I was like, listen, they're going to hear me. So just everything has been awesome. The facilities, everybody has just been great.
So the Kingspan's delivered, and for the man of the match against the Cheetahs, it was a dream debut.
It was tremendously quick. I mean, and that's what the Cheetahs are used to playing. They like to take it edge to edge stuff and run with ball in hand. And where I felt in my time here, it felt a little bit more physical, and I was expecting a little bit slower game, but it was up there with the super rugby speed, definitely.
I don't know the name of the cattle, but beware of bull. That is the bull. Beware of that bull. That's all I can say.
So life in Ulster is perfect. Well, almost.
Oh, it's lovely here.
No, it's nice. It's peaceful.
Yeah, nice and chilly at the moment. People talk about the weather, and then they say it's raining, and then you think, it can't be that bad. Yeah. But I think this whole month it's been raining every day. Yeah. But yeah, it's been, except for that, it's been awesome. But the rain is kind of bad, but it's okay.
The weather is something to get used to.
Yeah, something
Definitely.
to get used to.
And good news, the weather's only going to get worse. I hope Shulk was watching that feature on television, because he was looking forward to seeing his first appearance in an Ulster shirt. Anyhow, another big name arrival this season is John O'Gibbs. He is the new Ulster head coach under Les Kiss. The former New Zealand international joins from French side Clermont Auvergne.
I think the opportunity to come to work with Les, to work at a club that I knew, not completely familiar with, but I certainly had enough history to know, the good things that are going on here.
And you can see that extended interview with John O'Gibbs on the BBC Sport online and on Facebook as well. Well, we were chatting before about the performance of John Cooney. Ian, I've read an interesting article on the BBC Sports website that you think that John Cooney's arrival in Ulster will actually benefit Ulster as opposed to Ruan Pienaar staying. Explain.
Listen, there's no doubt how good Ruan was. I think over the 7 or 8 years he was here, the Ulster team itself transitioned massively from the team that he arrived in with the pack of BJ, when then John Afoa came in, then you had Tom Court, you had Stevie, you had Vandenberg, you had Muller, you had Dan Tui, lots and lots of ball carriers. Whereas over the last couple of years, potentially the pack wasn't as much of a ball carrying pack, and so to play so much 9-man, 10-man rugby that Ulster have tried to play over the last few years probably didn't suit the likes of having a Charles Piatow, Jacob Stockdale, Tommy Bowe, Andrew Trimble, Stuart McCluskey. So I just feel that the big games for us in the last couple of years have been those European Cup games against big packs where they want to move the ball around. They didn't necessarily kick as much from 9. They played a lot more through 10. And I think with John Cooney there and with Leila Fano there, they'll play a lot more through 10 as we've seen last week and this week. So I think the sort of broken field rugby and the more expansive rugby will suit, and Cooney's doing well.
OK, well, we shall see how it all pans out. No doubt we'll have lots more debate there during the season. Stephen disagrees, so we'll hear more later on. But the teams are back on the pitch. Time for the second half. Ulster leading by 14 points to 0. Let's see how the second half unfolds. It's back to Paddy and Jim.
Thanks, Stevie. Dan Jones brings them together. Just a little cursory glance will indicate that the Benetton Treviso side have made a change, and I think it's in the front row where Sherif Traore has come in as a replacement prop.
Okay, time on.
So 14-0 to the good. Ulster get the second half underway, and we'll want to dish out more of the same without conceding too much. Dak with the first tackle. Ian McKinley off the left foot, and not a bad clearance kick at all. Now Ludic did have the chance perhaps to think about a quick one, but decided not to. You wonder what would have happened to Ian McKinley, Paddy, had he not had that frightful eye injury, which very nearly cost him everything, never mind his rugby career.
Yeah, he's a very classy player, and yes, obviously in the highly thought of in Leinster before he had that injury. So yeah, very sad, but to be fair, making the best of the opportunity he has now.
Good work between Ulster's centres, McCluskey and Bowe. Well taken on by Ulster's hooker. Referee telling Benetton to get their hands away. Leila Fano, nice little bit of a fade in the ball. Louis Ludic across the 10-metre line of the home side. Fian Herbst just knocked forward by the Ulster tight head prop, who's looking pretty trim this season. And first scrum of the second half about to take place. 2 first half tries by Ulster's captain Andrew Trimble, both converted by scrum half John Cooney. There goes Fian Herbst, a wee bit upright and lost the ball in the contact, so not a great body position. He needed to be about 2 or 3 feet lower.
And Treviso will eat that up all day. If you're a one-out runner, they will get off the line in 2s and 3s and gang tack you, and Fian was on the end of one there, turned over the ball. Need a bit more variety, need 2 or 3 options for Cooney to throw the ball to, and that just stresses the defence for that split second, gives you a softer shoulder to run against.
A bit of a stoppage for an injury to a Treviso player. Coached, incidentally, for the 2nd year in a row by the former All Black fullback Kieran Crowley. He played for New Zealand between 1985 and 91, winning 19 caps, including 2 appearances in World Cups in '87 and again in 91, and for about over 8 years was the head coach in Canada. Robbie Dack in the middle of frame. In his 10th season now with his adopted province. Made his home very much in Belfast. Nice little business going. Tebaldi, formerly of the Ospreys and Harlequins. Down they go again. Dan Jones will not be happy with that.
No, it just adds to the start-stop nature of this game, and we want flow. We don't want dominated by scrums, knock-ons, line-outs, and unforced errors, and at the moment it's veering that way. Hopefully things will open up a bit in the second half.
Yeah, when you get a change in the front row so early on in the second half, it sometimes takes a wee while to bed in. So, as we mentioned earlier, Sharif Traore, who's come on wing number 17, is on the far side of the scrum for Treviso. Good bit of a squeeze there. Ulster down on this side. Here's Jaden Hayward, and also quite happy to see that go into touch. Dangerous player, missed the game last week in the Independent Park down in Cork. Highest scorer for Treviso in the league with 259, including a club record of 155 in one season a couple of seasons ago.
Treviso really aren't in a rush to speed this game up, but again, from set piece to set piece, they're happy to kick the ball off the pitch and move to the line out and just try and slow this momentum that Ulster sort of created for patches in the first half.
That's been overthrown.
Scrum advantage, release.
Taken on by Wetu Douglas. They were just tipped forward by Ulster. Good tackling there, first up by Ulster. Tabaldi looking for a way through, and there's none. It's been nabbed by Rob Herring.
Let go now, off. No, he's not on the ball. What is that?
Referee's played advantage for the Ulster knock-on. Still playing it, I think. But it was only a scrum advantage, so the advantage could well be over. That was that Marco Lazzaroni made a bit of ground.
Backwards.
That went backward. Tommaso Allen. Minto, who captained Italy during the summer on their tour. Treviso trying to get into Ulster's 22. Stockdale has to tackle. There's Traore, and he's dropped it. Well away by Robbie Dyack. And Louis Ludoc probably wanted that near this touchline. He's given Hayward the chance to catch and counter. John Cooney covers. All the time in the world.
Inside.
And that's a nice little chip by John Cooney. Reads the game so very well.
He does. He has been very impressive today, and one of the standout players for Ulster. Good turnover opportunity there, which Ludic decided to kick, but that ball has to find turf. It has to find the ground and be close to the touchline, as you mentioned. It gave Treviso a chance just to knock the ball back, and danger was averted.
Luca Bigi. No great challenge there to Baldi. Taken on by Bramstein. Held onto the ball in the tackle for that bit too long. You can hear Dan Jones saying you've got to release the ball before you actually try to replay it again.
Release the tackler, so he made the tackle and just went straight to the ball. He has to show air daylight between himself and the tackle and the ball, and he didn't release. And a kickable opportunity for 3 points.
Glasgow have beaten the Ospreys 31-10, and at half-time down at Thomond Park in Limerick, it's 22-6, I think, for Munster 22, Cheetahs 6. So the Southern Hemisphere sides, the South African sides, not making much of a dent so far, but early days yet. And remember, lots of sides have got to go to South Africa. Also have made a bit of a dent in Treviso here, but not much of a one. Still very much in the balance with 6 minutes gone. Good strike by Ian McKinley into the corner.
First time we've really heard the crowd get into the match. They've been very, very subdued due to pretty poor Treviso performance, but attacking opportunity now and only 14 points down, so if they can score, they'll be right in the game.
Well, they've started well. Tabaldi. Spiralling run there, ball has been released. That's nicely done. BG, who threw the ball into the line-out, sets it up.
Advantage 8.
John Dysell's given away the penalty. Referee playing advantage. Treviso looking for the 7-pointer rather than just 3, which they would probably get if they kicked the penalty. Traore, Sharif Traore, the replacement prop. Referee still playing advantage. And now he'll give the penalty.
Time off. 8, please.
John Dysell is going to incur the wrath of the referee.
Rocket forms, hands are gone in. Play be careful.
Well, that's the second time he's penalised him at the breakdown. He's now just told him to be careful. So what do Benetton do here, Paddy? Do they go for the 3 points?
I don't know. I would probably kick to the corner. I don't see them.
Well, they're going for the scrum. So that's an option that neither of us really thought of. It was either I thought a penalty or kick into the corner, but they've gone for the scrummage, so they must fancy themselves against this Ulster 8.
Disappointing from Diesel. That's 2 penalties and within a minute or two of each other. Leskis and John O'Gibbs won't be happy. It just gives the opposition very easy possession and a stronghold in the 22, and keeps the ball away from Ulster and prevents them from scoring tries.
Seconds away, relax.
Makes us look on the face of young Matthew Ray, Ulster's flanker on the near side.
Stand up, lads.
You can see where the posts are in relation to the scrum, just about 10 metres away, maybe even 9.
There needs to be a space, and you keep the space. Come to me.
So in such a stressful situation, it's no wonder that the scrum is a little bit on the FE side. Number 8 there for Treviso, Huetu Douglas. It's getting a bit dull here as the rain is threatening. There's a slight breeze, but it's favouring Ulster, but I won't worry about that at the moment. Tebaldi will be concerned about making sure it goes in. Down it goes, and this the Ulster loose head side taken quickly. There's a chance here as Hayward pulled down 5 minutes. Ulster's loose head, I think Callum Black went down on one knee, and the touch judge on this side, I think, called it to the referee. It's still there for Treviso. Referee still playing advantage for that scrum penalty. And Treviso desperate to try to winkle this ball back. They're all very flat, and Ulster up very quickly. Is the referee still playing advantage? He hasn't said. I didn't hear him say advantage over. Well, he must have said it because he's told them to use it. Here's Traore again. He's knocked it forward. Advantage now to Ulster, who will get the scrum. And Benetton doing a lot of things well and then making a mess of it right at the death.
Yeah, they're their own worst enemies at the moment. An opportunity with a penalty. Kickable, very kickable points. Went for the scrum, won the penalty, but really didn't offer anything in attack to threaten Ulster. Whenever you can get off the line, you know there's only a one-off runner. You can send 2 or 3 big men into that tackle. You can always disrupt the ball, and Treviso gave up the ball there, and Ulster have an opportunity to either run out of their 22 or look to kick and clear their lines.
Well, Andrew Trimble's being called ashore. John Diesel has been called ashore as well. And Chris Henry comes on. Luke Marshall is on, and one suspects that Tommy Bowe will move out onto the wing. So Luke Marshall with a familiar white head guard, and Tommy Bowe does move onto the right wing. So Henry is on and Marshall is on.
Well, Chris Henry last week quietly went about his business in a very, very professional way. I thought the chemistry and balance between the back row last week seemed to work very well. Chris was able to slow ball down and steal ball at will.
Sean Reedy is moving into number 8 for this particular scrum, which he has done on a regular basis. And that's not a bad Ulster scrum. Cooney gets it away. Leliafano. Here goes Stockdale with Marshall outside him. Clever little chip for Marshall. How's this going to bounce? It's not going to bounce badly. Well gathered in by Stockdale. And he slung it somewhat in a cavalier fashion behind him. Marshall in with a good tackle on Angelo Esposito. Back in the Treviso side. Douglas breaks through the first tackle. If that just had bounced a little bit more fortuitously, Jacob Stockdale might well have been in for Ulster. But the ball is with the home side.
Okay, lost now, not on the ball.
Tebaldi shaping up to kick it to this near touchline, and he does just that. Who's underneath it? Ludic calls for it. Gathers well and spirals. Needs a little bit of help. It's got it from Robbie Dyack. But that's good counter-rucking by the men in green, but it's come back, nothing wrong with that. And knocked forward by Sean Reedy from John Cooney's little pass. And the possession will go back to the home side. 10 minutes gone. The score, as it was at the interval, Benetton 0 and Ulster 14.
A fantastic, option to run from deep there, and we created the overlap, and Jacob Stockdale regathered after the chip through from Lukey Marshall, who's welcome back to the Ulster team, Luke. And but just these final passes, whenever we're creating opportunities to score a try, we have to be clinical, especially away from home, and that's very, very loose from Jacob. You know, Cooney showed it in the first half. You need to be, you know, very sure about where your pass is going to go, and created the try. Sometimes they go well for you, sometimes they don't, and unfortunately, it's for the last 2 or 3 occasions the final pass hasn't stuck and the try hasn't been scored.
Also made a change in the front row. Callum Black has left the field to be replaced by Andrew Warwick, winning his 74th cap. Scored his only Ulster try against this side at the Kingspan a couple of seasons ago. And there's been another change, I think, on the Ulster front row. Has Rodney Ayew come on? I can't quite see from here. Said there was an 18 coming on. Maybe it's going to be the Treviso 18. More of that in a second. Good scrum by Benetton. And off the wing is Esposito. McKinley looking for an outside break, collared by Stuart McCluskey. Also need to watch coming round in an offside position, and they're okay there. Jaden Hayward gets across the halfway line. McCluskey in, making a nuisance of himself. Taken on by Minto. Ulster denying Benetton quick ball. And Tebaldi's forced to kick. Ludick knocks it backward.
Okay, sorry. Knock one onto Black into a green player. Black onto green. Okay, scrum.
It was knocked forward by Ulster, so it's going to be a green scrum, as the referee Dan Jones was saying.
Time off. 2 and 9 green.
Tommy Bull looks like he's limping a little bit there.
9 as well, please.
Yeah, some more substitutions coming here for Treviso, and it does disrupt the flow of the game. Not that there was much flow in the second half so far. But the only opportunity that Ulster have had to attack, they ran from deep and created a good opportunity to score a try, but just need to be that bit more controlled with the final pass.
Time on, lads.
Tito Tebaldi has left the field. Marco Barbini has come on to play scrum half. As I should say, so Giorgio Bronzini. We'll get that right in a sec. This is Bronzini. McKinley sells a little dummy. Well tackled once again by McCluskey. Here's Douglas, the New Zealander from the Crusaders. Bronzini. This is the replacement.
No, you pulled away.
That's Pascali, the replacement tight head prop, wearing 18.
Balls up.
Not really going anywhere. Plenty of possession, Benetton, but Ulster's defence is pretty well organised. Tackle was by Vian Herbs. Bronzini. McKinley into the corner. It's a wee bit too far. And Louis Ludick well positioned and calls for and has been awarded the fair catch. We have played nearly 13 minutes in the second half and still 14-0 to Ulster, who haven't really threatened so far, Paddy, have they?
No, I think if you looked at the possession stats for the second half, it would be probably about 80% to 20% in favour of Benetton. And back they come again after we fail to find touch from that free kick.
Esposito runs into the middle of the field. Bronzini. Bronzini again. Hayward. Benvenuti straight into touch for an Ulster lineout inside their own half. But with a wee bit more fine-tuning, you know, Benetton could be on the scoreboard.
Well, they've had plenty of possession. They just haven't been able to convert the possession into opportunities to score tries. And when they have had opportunities, which was the decision to go for the scrum rather than the kick at goal, 5 metres out, they were very quick to cough up possession again.
Herring back nicely from Matthew Ray. Stockdale comes into the middle of the park. Cooney. It's Kieran Treadwell who set it up. Cooney again. Good hands by Ulster. Kick option there taken by Stuart McCluskey, and he's made a bit of ground. but the home side will have the throw into the line-out.
Choosing a bit of territory. They haven't had much territory in the second half, but 3 phases kicking the ball away. I think you need to wear down this Treviso side a bit more. Keep the ball in hand, and once you, as Stevie and Ian were mentioning in the at half-time there, take them through phases, wear them down, opportunities will arise.
Engel Macalara, the replacement hooker, got it in. McKinley under no pressure whatsoever. Tommy Bow in from the right wing where he's taken up position. Stockdale, Luke Marshall whips it away now to McCluskey. Big handoff by McCluskey on Hayward. Iliafano, who's had a much quieter game than a week ago, but you can say that about just about every single one of the Ulster players. Iliafano again. Nice bit of zip from Louis Ludock. Out wide to Rob Herring. Cooney again. Also just need to be patient. Kieran Treadwell gets across the 10-metre line. Iliafano, well taken by Reedy. Cooney in quickly. McCluskey actually made the right decision there, because the way between him and the men outside him was actually blocked. Cooney, flat ball. That's knocked forward by Jacob Stockdale in a rather tame fashion, unfortunately. Right idea.
Thank you. Time off front row, please.
Well, at least we went through a number of phases there, but again, execution at the end of that was very poor. Just a one-off runner from Jacob and coughed up the ball. Took his eyes off the pass from Cooney. Yeah, he is a bit rusty, I'm sure.
Bit rusty. So if you cast your eyes down to the bottom of your screen, we are scrolling through the local club results, the Ulster Senior League results. So I hope if you're watching that, you get the result that you wanted. Chris Henry, one of the natural leaders in this Ulster team, captained the side a week ago. Rory Best and fellow Lions Jared Payne and Ian Henderson probably at least one, if not two more games away from appearing, which is a bit of a shame. But all the other players who were involved with the Irish tour of the States and Japan should all be available from next week. In fact, most of them are involved here today. 16 minutes gone in the second half, no advancement on the scoreboard. Ulster would probably settle, Paddy, for 14-0, but not the manner so far in which it's been achieved.
No, they'll still, I'm sure, holding out for opportunities to score a third and fourth try and get a bonus point.
Hard to do for them here. Haven't done that for quite some time. Benetton go on the narrow side. Bronzini, very straightforward.
Inside.
And that's a good kick by Louis Ludock.
I think we also have to bear in mind, although last week's performance was very encouraging,
6 green, please.
We have a new set of halfbacks.
Hang on, lads. 6 green replacement, please.
Christian only came in very late in the pre-season, so he hasn't had a lot of time with the squad, and those relationships will take time to forge, and
time off, lads.
Those guys are directing operations out on the pitch, and the more time they get to play together, I think the more successful and complimentary they'll be to everybody else around them.
Yeah, replacement for Treviso, Marco Borbini has come on to play in the back row wearing number 20. Tap back untidily, well gathered in by Bronzini, who got away from Chris Henry on the front foot, but it was nudged forward, and before the scrum, let's have some words from Stephen Ferris. Words of wisdom, no doubt.
Words of wisdom, Jim. I'm not too sure about that. It's been a very lacklustre Ulster performance here in the second half, pretty much picking up where they left off in the first. Really expected this Ulster team to come out and put in a dominant second half display, but it's just so stop-start, and they just can't get any momentum. And I think Chris Henry was brought on there instead of Diesel, just to bring a bit more leadership to this team, try and get them to go through the phases, play in the right areas of the pitch, and try and put this Benetton team away. But Benetton are digging in, they're digging their heels in, and fair play to them. But Ulster just need to get possession, go forward, and try and get those extra couple of tries.
But they need a little spark. Luke Marshall's put a very clever kick in. That's well tackled by Jacob Stockdale on Jaden Hayward. But the home full back has managed to get his body round, and he's made it available Back to Allen in the outside half position. And he finds not a bad touch, but it's going to be an Ulster line-out. So maybe there's something in this game yet for Ulster.
Well, first things first, we need territory, and that I think is the first time the ball's been pretty much contested in the Treviso 22, so that's a start. If we can retain possession and get across the gain line here, steal a try in the next few minutes, of course we have every opportunity to get a bonus point, but it just has been, as Stevie says, very lacklustre and not very clinical so far in the second half.
Bit of a stoppage, but Jaden Hayward, the Benetton full-back, seems to be fine. Ulster's line out with the end of the third quarter, just round the corner. Nicely back, Cooney, McCluskey. Again, upright and fairly easy to bring down, and they need the quicker ball. Stockdale into scrum half. They're very anxious to get involved. This is much better stuff from the Ulster pack now. They've got themselves into the home 22. Henry leading from the front, just pulling a man out of the way. Legally, it would seem. Cooney on the narrow side. Stockdale again. Tries to step inside Lazzaroni. Cooney. Andrew Warwick. Replacement prop. Nicely back inside to Kieran Treadwell, who's had a quietish game, the newly elected Irish international. Here goes Sean Reedy. Big gap opened up, and they've knocked it forward, and the referee's playing advantage, and there won't be any. It hit the corner flag, so that's not in touch, or it was in touch. And the referee will ask the TMO, Sean Brickle, there, because there might be a bit of foul play there. I'm not sure who was the perpetrator. Paddy, did you see foul play?
I think a late tackle on Leofano after he put the inside ball away.
It was on Cooney, I think.
Clattered.
Yeah, it was a clatter on Cooney. Was hit quite nastily as well. There's the ball. There's Reedy. It was before that, I do believe. Reedy taken down to the ground, but there was a bit of a clatter before that. That's fine. The ball was spilled in the tackle there, and McKinley came away with it. So we've got to go back a little bit to see exactly who was thumped. That was nothing wrong with that. That was Barbini brought down Sean Reedy. So let's see what Sean Brickle comes up with. Jaden Hayward has left the pitch.
Okay, it was knocked on in the contact. We haven't got anything with TMO. We've got technical issues.
TMO Sean Brickle can't see anything.
Probably third or fourth time now. We've just
technical issues. I thought technical issues only occurred at airports when your plane was delayed, but never mind.
Yeah, third or fourth time we've coughed the ball up in a scoring position in this match, and that'll be the reason why we don't get the bonus point if that transpires today.
Wait in, lads, wait in.
But I enjoyed them. They changed the point of attack there. Instead of going with one-off runners, they picked and went from the ruck and gave them the momentum there. Perhaps that leadership from Henry coming to the fore straight away.
20 minutes remaining. Score as it was at the interval, 14-0 for the visitors. Solid looking scrum.
Yes.
Oh, charged on. Gathered in. Oh, not gathered in. The knocked backward. It was knocked backward. And Jacob Stockdale has pounced. And Jacob Stockdale has got his 10th league try for Ulster, having got 9 in his first year last year, but it was made by John Cooney, who did what we all expected Ruan Pienaar to do every week. Very alert, charged down, Stockdale pounced. Watch this.
Yeah, huge pressure from Cooney there, and he'll be kicking himself, not scoring a try himself, but thankfully it went back from his hand rather than forward, and Jacob Stockdale was able to dive on the loose ball. It was almost going to take something a bit comical like that, or an error from Treviso for Ulster to score. It just seemed that way, but we'll take it any way we can, and we now have over 15 minutes now to score that bonus fourth try.
Well, John Cooney thought he was going to get his first Ulster try. Can he get his third conversion of this rather murky evening now in Treviso? Home side looking a bit disconsolate behind their own try line. They know it's very much an uphill struggle for them. Cooney, that looks good from here. It looks even better from down there. Up go the flags. John Cooney has made it 3 conversions out of 3 attempts. So 6 more points out of the 10 he scored last week, and he's the top point scorer so far this season. So he hasn't had a bad start to his new career.
Very, very tidy match today, and you know, I heard Ian Humphreys talk about the legacy of Ruan and how much he'll be missed, and I would be agreeing with Ian that I think we needed a change. We were too reliant on Ruan, and so far John's done a great job filling his boots.
Rob Herring has gone off. John Andrew, I think, has come on, and Rodney Ayew is on, and Peter Nelson is on as well. So lots of changes from Ulster. Cooney gets it away as he has done all evening. Dave Shanahan waiting on the bench for another cameo, and Ulster give away a penalty when they really didn't need it. When you score a try and convert it, all you need to do is gather the ball in and keep it safe. It's protecting the ball.
It's the exit set, as they say. It's the new set piece of rugby. It's getting out. Once you score points, you receive a kick-off. It's getting out of your territory, and Ulster failed to do that and gave Treviso the opportunity to turn the ball over with a penalty, and now they're on the attack, and Ulster have a long way to go to get their 4th try.
Eliafano has gone off, Peter Nelson is on, and as we mentioned, Rodney Ayew is on, as is John Andrew, and off have gone Rob Herring and Vian Hurst. Benetton lineout has been pretty good all evening. Also allowed them to catch, and then they applied the defensive squeeze. Good rumble forward by the men in green, looking for their first try of the game. Trailing by 3 tries to 0 at the end, and Ulster have come in at the side. The referee's awarded a penalty.
Penalty. No, that was short, but we're going back for side entry, green penalty.
The ball was touched down short of the Ulster line. And the referee, Dan Jones, has given Treviso a penalty for coming in from the side. And there, down is Bram Stain, the Treviso open side.
Okay.
Good defending by Ulster, but they had given away the penalty in the process, and I don't think Treviso will be doing anything other than, well,
I was happy with
when we thought about the options last time, they actually went for the scrum. They might well go for the scrum again, Paddy.
They may well, but they look quite impressive from the maul there.
Player reaction is it was short.
And the referee is now actually going up to check that Treviso didn't actually score the try.
It was short, I think. They're just double checking when he's injured, all right?
Yes, the ball was short.
Right, yeah, we'll have a look at.
And I could hear Dan Jones saying, and the player reaction was that it was short. Well, you can't go by that.
Lads, we are going to check it, okay?
He's going to have another look at it. We're saying lots and lots of replays here, but the man who needs to see the replays is the TMO Sean Brickle. Peter Nelson going in bravely as ever, wearing number 22, got himself almost squashed by the massive prop Sharif Traore. There's nothing terribly subtle about that. I'm sure Peter Nelson will come out a little bit flattened. So inconclusive from Dan Jones, or should I say the TMO Sean Brickle, and there's going to be a Benetton penalty for a side entry.
Yeah, let's go, lads.
And back to the corner for the line-out. Interesting to see if Ulster will actually contest or stay on the ground to try and prevent the maul.
Macalara with the throw. Well taken in, and there's the reverse drive. This could be interesting. Can they get it down? Ulster are right underneath them, and that's great defence by Ulster, but not good enough because the try has been given.
Nice set piece play there from the maul. They changed the point of attack immediately as Ulster committed to where the throw was thrown to. They peeled off the side and got a mismatch, probably about a 4-on-2 with that maul, and were able to truncheon their way over.
Well, they did it really well, and Ulster just caught slightly napping. It was a great drive for the line, and that was the final touchdown, and the referee awarded the try. Nicely played by the Treviso forward pack. Referee on the spot. So, by no means done and dusted. Conversion to come from Ian McKinley. Right side of the field for around the corner, left-footed kicker. Oh, that's a delicate little chip from McKinley. So Treviso in with a decent chance of getting something out of this game. At the very worst for Ulster, losing bonus points. Ulster will need to kick back on again, Paddy. They've been pretty lacklustre apart from a couple of little sparks here and there.
They need to get their hands on the ball, Jim, and hold on to it when they have it. And preferably in the Treviso half. Playing too much rugby in their own half. And not holding on to the ball whenever they have it. Coughing it up very cheaply. So, you know, big 13 minutes ahead.
It was Wetu Douglas, one of Treviso's new signings, who took the ball forward. Ciaran Crowley, their New Zealand coach, has got about 20 players on the injury list. Nothing wrong there with Ian McKinley, but he ran into Robbie Dyack. Look, Marshall in the middle of all that. I wonder what was he doing there. Rodney Ayew standing back, likewise Sean Reedy. Bronzini. And that's a very good clearance by Treviso.
It's a great effort by the Ulster defensive line there to pen Treviso back from the long kick-off. Shanahan applied pressure, made them run an extra phase and just penned them into that corner, made it very difficult for them to get out.
Keep your numbers is good.
John Andrews' first throw. Well taken. Peter Nelson. McCluskey. Dave Shanahan has slipped on very quietly. Now Nelson, new halfbacks. Luke Marshall. Andrews in there. Stockdale calling for it on the narrow side. Ayew needs to hang on to the ball, and he does.
Okay.
Shanahan.
Advantage offside, 20 green.
Chris Henry.
Penalty advantage.
Benetton Treviso offside. Nelson inside to Luke Marshall. Up to the 22. Better stuff from Ulster. Ayew is in there. Still offside. Penalty advantage. Here goes McCluskey. Ferocious handoff, but he's well brought down. Shanahan in quickly. Ayew again on the charge, which is a considerable one.
Legal. Offside,
and they're going to back all the way for the penalty to Ulster, whom I'm sure will go for the corner.
Oh, great opportunity to go for the corner and try and maul their way over. Nice to see Shanahan on. Cooney's had a very good game. Shanahan's brought on that little bit of pace that Paul Marshall's been able to do for so long for Ulster. Just adds that extra little spark. You can see the team feeding off that.
Well, that's nicely struck by replacement right side half Peter Nelson. Was out for 15 months with a dreadful foot injury which required all sorts of surgery, but he's back and relishing the prospect of challenging for a regular spot in this Ulster side. Andrew taken round the front.
Hands away, let go! Let it come!
That's nicely worked by Ulster. Shanahan pops it up to Treadwell.
He's off it.
Nelson flat to Luke Marshall. Good strong run by Marshall. Shanahan again. Sweet little offload by John Andrew to Robbie Dyack. Ulster building nicely. Need to hang on to the ball. And just as we said that, they spill the ball and the referee gives advantage. Because Treviso kicked it, the advantage is over. Stockdale's knocked that backward against Esposito. As of this season, one international against another.
Let it come. No, tackle.
Oh, they're offside. The referee didn't look behind him. Shanahan again for Ulster. Under 10 minutes to go. McCluskey. And they've given him no room whatsoever in which to move. Rodney Ayew. So his first up tackling is very substantial. Here's John Andrew. Pushed back almost to halfway now, Ulster. Chris Henry. Pete Nelson. McCluskey. Marshall. Tommy Bowe outside him. And again, the green and white defence is very solid. That's nicely done. That was Matthew Ray. Shanahan, though, having to scrap for the ball on the ground. Ulster needed somebody in there, and that's going to be one on the ground by Treviso, and that's the first serious turnover of the evening. And here they come. This is Allen. Little chip into a bit of space. That's set up nicely. Oh, it's gathered by Allen. He had a man outside him, but he doesn't need him. He's gone inside, and it's McKinley gets the second try for Treviso, and there still is time for what would be a serious upset here at the Stadio Moningo.
Hats off to Treviso. As you mentioned, their defence, they're coming off the line, they're absolutely smashing Ulster back. Ulster look very tired actually now at this point in the game, which is a concern, but Matthew Ray made a nice break up the middle, but we were very soft at the breakdown. Chris Henry would be very, very disappointed to be shoved off the ball so easily, and we turned the ball over, and whenever you turn the ball over, your defence isn't organised. Treviso would mush the ball into that wide channel. With a lovely piece of skill, we're able to get over for probably a deserved try, given the ferocity of their defence in the second half.
And look at the number of green shirts were there in support.
That'll be a shot in the arm for them. They'll sense they can do something quite special here and get over for that try, that third try. Will hopefully tie the match if this conversion goes over.
Well, the man who scored the try is going to have another go at that. He hadn't begun his run-up as the ball fell over, so he's entitled to set it again.
You've got time, you've got 20 seconds.
Also warming up another sub. It looks like Pete Brown's coming on. Referee is told Ian McKinley he has another 20 seconds, which is now down to about 10. Will it matter? Hit that well. And the flags go up yet again. Well, from 21-0 up to 21-16, is it?
14, and all to play for still. And Ulster are their own worst enemies. Have 3 or 4 opportunities to put this game to bed, and have coughed up the last pass or knocked the ball on contact, or when they're 5 metres out of giving away possession cheaply, and Treviso are back in a match that they have no right to be, really.
Well, a converted try would bring them level. Ludick. Remember, Ulster needed a try for a bonus point, but they'll be more concerned about not losing this game now as opposed to winning it in style. Rodney Ayew adds a little bit of beef, never mind the style. Shanahan taken in by Stockdale. Nelson. A lot of basic errors there, and they're trying to get Stockdale into touch, and he's got the ball back, but he hadn't actually got the ball back because the touch judge or assistant referee on this side, Claudio Blesano, had his flag up, and it is a Benetton Treviso line-out, and there's 5.5 minutes remaining.
And I think pretty much all of the bench have been used from Ulster as well, and that can create its own problems as well as solutions, especially so early in the season, not much game time together. Les probably thought the game had been won at 21 points to 0 and unleashed the bench, and unfortunately there's been no continuity in the Ulster game since.
Well, that's nicely won by Benetton. Allen. Scarby, the captain. There's a good tackle on Esposito, who came in from his right wing. Ball has gone backward. Play on, says the referee. Treviso trying to create something on the far side. Bronzini, the replacement scrum half. First tackle by Big Pete Brown. He's held on well, and he's got to get out of it, and he does. Bronzini. Allen in the outside half position. Spilled. No advantage coming, and Ulster will get the put into the scrum. 4.5 minutes to go, and Ulster will be happy to get out of this if it stays that way. Paddy Wallace.
Yeah, you're caught in a mindset here. Do you press on for the bonus point, or do you try to play the ball off the ground here and play for territory? With 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go now on the clock, so I would imagine they'll go for territory and wait for Treviso hopefully to make a mistake within their own 22.
Well, you can be sure that Treviso will throw more than they've probably got or seen so far into this scrum.
It's a nice opportunity to attack from as well, Jim. I'd be licking my lips. You got a midfield scrum 50 metres out. Defence has to split, pick the right side. You usually get a very, very good gain line.
Imagine, give me the ball, give me the ball.
Yeah, Pete has a nice left foot here. You can see plenty of space into that left corner, and he'll be eyeing up now. Try and play for a bit of territory.
Bind. Set.
Penalty against Ulster at the scrum. Just what they didn't need.
You've got a head on head. Head on head. I've asked you to move it. You haven't. Head on head.
Rodney Ayew, I think the man penalised him. Maybe it was John Andrew, but somebody in the Ulster front row. It's just been decided by my colleague at the request of the home broadcasters that man of the match award has got to go to John Cooney. There's one or two Benetton Treviso players like that man Ian McKinley might well have vied for that, but not a bad decision whatsoever. Should have got himself a try. So last chance perhaps, 2.5 minutes remaining. A converted try between them. Is there time for Benetton, who are now in losing bonus point position? That's gone longish, but well taken in. And now they've slipped it away. Big tackle there from Matthew Ray. And just his second game for Ulster. Bronzini. Ayew up very quickly and head down rather dangerously. Here comes the back row replacement, Marco Barbini again. Over the Ulster 22, Bronzini replacement scrum half.
That's a tackle.
There was tackle, Bronzini gets it away again. Good work by Bramstein, 2 minutes remaining. Ulster can't afford to miss a single tackle because these men in green and white are moving forward. That was good work by Luke Marshall. Wrapped up his man, but it's still back on the home side.
Black lost.
Play on, says the referee. Nice little sidestep there by Francesco Minto. Bronzini. Benvenuti, who's moved into the centre, it would seem.
They're not offside. They're fine.
Osterman saying the referee they're offside. You can hear Dan Jones saying they're not offside. They're throwing everything into this. Tackled by Sean Reedy. That's good defensive work by Ulster's flanker. He had a wee bit of help as well. Again, probing, looking for a gap on the Ulster defence. Ends to the final minute. All Ulster have to do is hold on. No silly penalties. And here they come again. McKinley, who's been terrific in the home colours. Replacement tight head prop Tiziano Pascali. And again, Ulster throwing everything into the defence in the last minute or two. It's moved wide by Tommy Allen. Oh, the big hole has suddenly appeared, but it's been knocked forward.
Not called advantage.
Referee playing advantage to Ulster. They need to hang on to the ball for another 30 seconds before they can think about releasing it. That looked a bit on the forward side.
Advantage over.
Shanahan gets it away. John Andrew goes to ground. Just about 10 seconds to go. Nelson knows he can't kick it directly into touch, but he stuck it nicely. That's a fabulous kick by Peter Nelson. What a very good kick that is. That's one of the best kicks out of hand he'll ever do. Jacob Stockdale runs up quickly to prevent the quick throw, and this may well be the last set piece. So Treviso, Paddy, have to attack from here if they're going to get anything other than a losing bonus point.
Yeah, and a fantastic kick by Peter Nelson. Sweet left peg. Pinned Treviso back 60 yards there from the ruck, and just what Ulster needed at that time. But yeah, a few more questions than answers coming out of this game, I think, Jim. A very good performance last week, but we haven't been able to back it up.
Oh, at times it looked so easy, and when Ulster were 21-0 up, you thought, well, bonus point win and half a dozen tries might be on the cards, but that hasn't happened. Well won at the line out by Treviso into a wee bit of space. Luke Marshall, oh, he slipped, and that's gone loose. Oh, this could be interesting. They've got men out wide. It's McKinley. That looked a little tad on the forward side. High tackle there by Peter Nelson. Referee happy enough to let it go. Here come Treviso again, looking for a try that could gain them a draw here.
Penalty advantage.
And Ulster have conceded the penalty. The referee's playing advantage. Still there for Treviso. Back inside. Seem to be knocked forward. And they've come all the way back for the penalty. Now, Treviso, Paddy, have already got the losing bonus point. So a penalty's not going to get them anything more. Will they go for the...
Oh, they won't have time for line-out.
Referee, I think, has said you can go for the line. I just think I heard him say.
Time for the line-out, obviously, it's the last play, yeah?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, how did Ulster manage to lose that ball to allow Treviso the chance to come back and secure the draw from this?
We've got time for the line-out, right?
Bit of a stoppage for Bram Stein, who's been part of a terrific Treviso back row. And how much have Ulster missed Marcel Coetzee this week?
Certainly have. It hasn't been all plain sailing getting across that gain line at ease as we did last week. Treviso met us head to head there and won that battle. Ulster haven't really been able to dominate the gain line, which all your attack flows from that. You get across the gain line as a back, it's so much easier to attack, and we just haven't had that platform this week. And we're certainly not out of the woods yet. This game hasn't even been won yet, so Ulster need to put in a big effort here to keep Treviso from crossing the line for perhaps a try that will tie the game up.
New World Rugby laws have decreed that you can actually go for the line out if you've got a penalty in overtime. So correct application of the laws. And the last time they were in this position, or the time before, they scored from it. Here they go again. Well taken. Ulster have to dig in and deny Benetton the ball coming back. They have got the ball coming back.
Wait.
Bronzini pops it up. Ulster need to defend like they've never defended on the road for quite some time. Here they come again, Treviso. Good driving forward by Federico Ruzza.
Okay, no advantage, knock on.
Knock forward, and that's the end of the game. And somehow Ulster have held on.
No, he's fine.
They've managed to get through this game. 14-0 up at half-time, 21-0 up midway through the second half. But how tight was that final score? Ulster can breathe a huge sigh of relief. Benetton, Treviso 14, and Ulster 21.
Ian Humphreys and Stephen Ferris are with us. Stephen, first of all, give us your impressions of what, to the casual Ulster fan, will see as a very disappointing performance by Ulster, albeit a win.
Yeah, I haven't written anything down because that second half, I think Treviso were the much better team. They played the better rugby. They played in the right parts of the field, and just I don't know what happened. Like me and Ian's been there. We've been in Italy. We've played there. Some days you just turn up and it just doesn't happen for you, and they got to address it. You come to the end of the season, you go, if we had got that bonus point away against Benetton, we might have got into the top 2 or top 3, and it's those bonus points, they all add up come the end of the season. But it was such a disappointing second half. We thought they were going to come out with a bit more in the second half, but they just didn't. And fair play to Benetton. They could have snatched the draw at the end, but thankfully the Ulster defence held them out.
Yes, as Stephen says, tough often to play away in Italy, but it's early in the season to be using excuses like that, surely, isn't it?
It is, and I think the frustrating thing, I guess, watching is they were quite casual with the ball at times. There were quite a few knock-ons and tackles, and we talked at half-time about missed opportunities, and then again, just after half-time when Sean Reedy broke through just under the post, if they could have recycled that, there was an opportunity for another try then. It's difficult, I think, some of the kicking maybe wasn't as accurate. It didn't look like they had a necessarily obvious game plan where they're going to try and kick out or kick long or kick to compete. And when you go to the Italian teams, you have to be really clear on what you want to do, because they do make it difficult. They play very unstructured rugby, as you saw with some of their tries. They came from nothing, and I think Ulster will be really disappointed, really frustrated. But listen, it's another win. A few more guys got a bit of game time, and don't fret too much.
When Jacob Stockdale scored to put Ulster 21-0 up, you kind of thought they would cruise on to the bonus point. And with that in mind, how frustrated will the coaches be that this was not the ruthless performance that they wanted to see tonight?
The coaches will be frustrated, but the players will be even more frustrated. They'll be talking to each other in the plane on the way home, saying, why did it just not happen for us tonight? What things can we improve on for next week? Because if they play like they did tonight against the Scarlets next week, they won't win the match. The Scarlets are a completely different kettle of fish altogether. But like 2 other tries, fortuitous bounce that went into Andrew Trimble's hand. Yes, he had to finish it, but the gap was there. He walked it over, and then a charge down. So 14 points of Ulster's 21 points. They didn't really have to work too hard for it. So that would be the concerning thing for me going into the Scarlets game next week is, you know, we'll have to score tries against the Scarlets because we know they're going to score tries against us. So where's that going to come from? And tonight they just didn't really look like we're going to score.
Ian, as you say, don't fret at the moment. Yes, it's an Ulster win, but they conceded 2 tries to that Treviso side in the second half, and the Ulster fans will be saying this looked a lot like the Ulster team of last season, not this new look Ulster team we thought we'd see this season.
Yeah, you're right, and I think the thing that always I was surprised that all the substitutions were made as quickly and as early as they were, because all of a sudden you lose the momentum you were gaining in the first half, and especially when it's new combinations, to then change them again, it's quite difficult. But I think, okay, they conceded the Maul try there, but what they've got to look at is how did Treviso get there? Was it through a cheap turnover? Was it through lack of discipline? And you have to stop teams getting into your red zone. This second try, it's just a good Treviso try, a nice chip over the top. You look at that Ulster, they look a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued. And then the question just is maybe a slightly defensive system of where the cover is, because that's Louis Lulick having to cover a lot of ground, and that's stuff that should be sorted sort of on the drawing board at home. But listen, it's new combinations. These things happen early in the season. I think a lot of teams, even throughout both leagues, will be struggling early doors.
I don't take anything away from Benetton there. You know, they got a great turnover. They went through the hands, nice chip over the top, lovely bounce and a pass inside, and you know they finished it off. So you've got to give Benetton a bit of credit there. Maybe the Ulster boys, you know, don't deserve too much flack for such a good try like that.
A win's a win. Ian, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. There's been other Pro 14 action today already, and some ongoing. In Conference A, Glasgow and the Ospreys. Glasgow were the winners today by 31 points to 10. Latest score from Thomond Park, Munster are 51 points to 11 up against the Cheetahs. Tonight kicking off at 7:35, Connacht against the Southern Kings and Zebra against the Scarlets. Ulster's opposition next week. And we have lots of live rugby coming up for you between now and the new year on BBC Northern Ireland. Next up for Ulster is a home game against the Scarlets, kick-off 7:25. And the next 11 games you can see all live here on BBC Two. Dragons, Zebra, Connacht are the next ones up after that. And the next live sport we have for you is on BBC Radio Ulster. We've got international cricket, Ireland against the West Indies. And you can also see highlights of the cricket on BBC One this Wednesday night at 10:40. But that's it from Ulster Rugby Live. Ulster weren't impressive, but it's still 2 wins out of 2. Bye-bye.